Today, I'm going to do my best not only to sort of explain what blockchain and NFTs are, but also discuss Phil Spencer's reaction to the new sort of options for owning digital media and what he thinks about them, in contrast to what Ubisoft plans on doing. Let's sort of get into this story, and I'll do my best to explain it. Although even for myself, it's a new medium of purchase. So it's a little difficult for me to explain. Let's get into it though. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when things go live. I appreciate everybody who has subscribed thus far. So getting into this story, Ubisoft has talked about blockchain and NFT on a recent earnings call, and let's bring up that asset here. So Guillermo talks about, as you can see, this industry is changing regularly with lots of new revolutions happening. We consider blockchain one of those revolutions. It will imply more pay to earn that will enable more players to actually earn content, own content, and we think it's going to grow the industry quite a lot, Guillermo said during the earnings call. This was from IBI Times, and they are quoting the earnings call from Ubisoft not that long ago. So we have been working with lots of small companies. Stupid ads. So we have been working with lots of small companies going on the blockchain, and we're starting to have a good know-how on how we can impact the industry. We want to be one of the key players there, the CEO added. Blockchain will enable more pay to earn that will enable more players to actually earn content, own content. They're just reiterating the same statement, it sounds like. And we think it's going to grow the industry quite a lot. We've been working with lots of small companies going on blockchain, and we're starting to have a good know-how on how it impacts the industry. And we want to be one of the key players here. Now, if you're like me, you're still like, what the hell is a blockchain? What the hell is an NFT? So there's two articles out there that I found just doing a fast Google search, and I thought we would look at them before we talk about Phil Spencer's response to it. So the first one is called Let the Blockchain Games Begin. It's from zipmex.com. And the TLDR, their explanation is that blockchain gaming gives players complete control over the digital assets they earn or gain through their participation in games. Even if players pay real money for their digital assets in traditional games, they will lose access to them if the server is ever turned down or off. Both the money and the game assets would remain the property of the publisher or developer. Now, if you've ever bought something in a game, like one that pops in the top of my head is Marvel vs. Capcom 3. They eventually would remove a lot of that artwork or the alternate costumes from that game, and you just wouldn't have access to them anymore. I believe if you purchase them, you might still be able to download them, but even that might not be the case. So that's an instance where something like this might seem appealing. There's a separate article about NFTs over on the Verge.com, and I think it's a pretty good rundown where they're trying to further explain NFTs and blockchain and how the whole thing works. If you want to know more about this, though, you're going to have to go read these articles. It is a very interesting topic that just requires more explanation than I'm going to be able to do in a short video. Maybe if I ever feel ambitious, I will make a video just explaining what they are as clearly as I possibly can. I'm the type of person that likes to present colloquially, like just the way that we would talk if we ran into each other. So I'm doing my best to explain it here with my feeble understanding of what blockchain and NFTs are. So the question over on The Verge is also answered, and they basically say something along the lines of, what's worth picking up at the NFT supermarket? NFTs can really be anything digital, such as drawings, music, your brain downloaded and turned into an AI. But a lot of current excitement is around using the tech to sell digital art. And then they made a joke. You mean like people selling my good tweets? I don't think anyone can stop you, but that's not really what I meant. A lot of the conversation is about NFTs as an evolution of fine art collecting, only with digital art. And then they note here, side note, coming up with the line, buying my good tweets, we were trying to think of something so silly that wouldn't be a real thing. So of course the founder of Twitter sold one for just under 3 million shortly after we posted the article. So my personal reaction to the whole NFT blockchain thing is I think it's a new territory that I don't fully understand. I don't know why I would ever want to do that. And thus far, I haven't seen a good example of something that I would like to own. And then like, how do you access it? Like, do you own it digitally? It's given you digitally. But I do think something in this vein was always going to come along as we go into a more and more digital world. It's confusing though. I guess I get it, but it's hard to explain. And I don't think the best version of implementation has been found just yet, because mostly what I hear about are silly things like people buying pixels, basically, that don't seem that valuable to you for a lot of money. However, if it's a thing that people are using, maybe once they figured out how to make it mass market, it could eventually work. Let's talk about Phil Spencer's take here for just a second, though. So, Xbox chief wary of exploitive NFT gaming projects. This is from Steven Totilo, again over at Axios. He's just had a fantastic series of interviews with Phil Spencer and everything. And this one really gets into Phil's take on the topic and how I sort of also feel about it. Microsoft's head of gaming, Phil Spencer, is being cautious about the prospects of NFT gaming, saying some current efforts feel exploitive. What he's saying is basically what I'd say today on NFT, all up, is I think there's a lot of speculation and experimentation that's happening, and that some of the creative I see today feels more exploitive than about entertainment, he told Axios. He doesn't have a firm line against all NFTs. And here's the roundup from Totilo here. I don't think it's necessary that every NFT game is exploitive. I just think we're kind of in that journey of people figuring it out. And I can understand that early on, you see a lot of things that probably are not things you want to have in your store. I think anything that we looked at in our storefront that we said is exploitive would be something that we would, take action on, he added. We don't want that kind of content. So he doesn't completely shut the door on it, but he does point out, hey, everything we've seen this far, it just feels really exploitive. It doesn't feel great. And it was I think people responded positively to this because it was a little refreshing to hear somebody come out and basically say, I don't think we're at where we need to be for blockchain and NFT gaming to be implemented across the board. Well, Ubisoft had a much more positive take on it. Hearing somebody like Phil Spencer basically say, hey, I don't know how I feel about this. This is new territory and we're trying to figure it out. That sort of honesty was very well received by most of the community. And again, my personal take on it is blockchain and NFTs seem like currently are a bit of I'll use the word ethereal concept. They're not tangible. They're not a thing that you can hold in your hand. And while I do agree that we are moving more and more to a digital world as our games are downloadable, we don't actually own those games at any period, so they can be removed from the marketplace. And there's this conversation about Destiny content being removed right now. And while I've experienced that content, I don't really care too much. A lot of people point out that they paid for it and they would like to be able to experience those campaigns again. And when you think about it, it's just like that content's just gone. You'll never be able to experience that again. World of Warcraft went through this when they had the original version, vanilla World of Warcraft, and then the expansions went forward and that old content just disappeared. Fast forward to today, vanilla WoW comes out and is marketed as a whole new product from Blizzard. So it's an interesting new thing that the industry is going to have to tackle in the next few years if it does catch on. It's not like it's a small industry. There is a lot of money changing hands here, and it's interesting to say the least. If you know more about this, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below, because for me, it's a little too new that I don't have a concrete grasp on what's happening there. And I would like to know more, but for now, I'm just not sold on it. It does, I agree, feel exploitive. It just feels like a lot of people are just out there making stuff that's not that great and selling it for money. And like, that's not going to move blockchain and NFT forward. It's going to make people feel cynical about the whole thing. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. If you like these sort of videos, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell. I can't wait to hear from you and talk more about this particular topic because it's an interesting one. And I'm glad that I took a few moments to just briefly educate myself on the basics of what it is. I hope it helped you, but I'm going to include links in the description below to the articles I discussed today. If you like my videos and you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you to all of the members who have said, hey, I want to support your channel, Destin. I do truly appreciate your support. Thank you. You can click that button if you want to become a member also. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, whatever, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody.